This season of Truly Independent is supported by the Help Them See Foundation. Help Them See is a nonprofit dedicated to supporting feature films that inspire faith, hope, and connection. By partnering with filmmakers, the Help Them See Foundation brings meaningful stories to life and shares them with audiences worldwide, making a lasting cultural impact through the power of cinema. Learn more and discover how you can be part of the movement by visiting helpthemseefoundation.org. Welcome to Season 3 of Truly Independent. I'm Garrett Batty alongside my co-host Darren Smith. Each week, we'll go in-depth with guests, industry experts, and we'll even share our own experiences, all with the goal of demystifying the independent film process. This season, it's all about the script, from the first spark of an idea to a polished final draft, breaking it down for scheduling, budgeting, and ultimately shooting. We'll walk through every step it takes to get from page to production. Welcome to Truly Independent. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Truly Independent. Darren, how are you?
Oh man, so good. We've got some fun stuff happening the rest of this month, which I'm looking forward to, which we're not going to talk about today because, dude, can we talk about what's going on in the box office right now for a minute?
We should probably interrupt our regularly scheduled independent film hacking to celebrate independent film hacking.
Man, oh man, we haven't covered box office since like season 1, I think, but there are times where we really should celebrate. And there's two things that are going right now, and they're just like, you can't not talk about them. So the first one we should talk about is Iron Lung from the YouTuber Markiplier, Mark Fischbach, who self did everything, like self financed, starred in, wrote, directed, I think did the whole thing, $3 million movie based on a video game, self released, and is now crossed $43 million worldwide.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's incredible. And I'm unfamiliar with the movie or honestly with the YouTuber. I know I'm probably dating myself by saying that. But my goodness, what a model, and that he's turning heads, and it's amazing. And he's done it for, I did read an article about it, not to just parrot the article, but
Yeah.
it's very similar to what most independent filmmakers are trying to do, where they build an audience. He just did it on a massive scale. And then when he was going to open this movie, he was going to open it on a few screens and said to his audience, please go demand the movie or go have your theaters. And within, I mean, he talked about within weeks, the thing was now going to open on 2,000, 3,000 and more screens.
Yeah, it's insane. Now, the pushback I hear from everybody, which is really dumb, is he's got 38 million YouTube subscribers. Yeah, he does. That's why he's having the success he's having. That's more than $1 per YouTube subscriber that he's made in the box office, right? Like, that's massive. And obviously not every one of those have seen it. So if you're doing the math a little bit, that's probably, what is it? 1%, 10% of his audience has gone and seen the movie. So great. That's huge. But now we know, if we're indie filmmakers trying to build an audience and they're engaged and they're following along, and we've been marketing to them the whole time as we're making the thing and getting ready to release the thing, 5 to 10% are going to buy a ticket. So if you need to sell 1 million tickets, you need whatever the math is on that, 10 to 20 million people in your audience. And so that's the math. And that means, okay, maybe you need to get 100,000 people out to cover the cost of your $250,000 movie. Now you know the math. So I just wish people would pay attention and go, no, this is a model that works. He's just done it at a bigger scale than we've ever seen it.
It's incredible. And congratulations to him. And I love that is like the true spirit of independent filmmaking.
Yeah. Well, and it's only been in theaters 3 weeks and it's still going. Like, I'm looking at the domestic weekend like we used to do.
It was the number 9 movie last weekend.
The hold on this is crazy, right? Like, the change, it's claiming it opened on 3,015 theaters. I think the actual number is higher from his reporting, but 5,900 per screen average week 1, 2,000 per screen average week 2, but it only dropped 85 theaters. That's crazy. So we're in week 3 and we're still at 2,374 theaters. It's only dropped 600 theaters from its peak. Like, the hold is nuts.
And that's with 3 wide releases coming out last weekend.
I know.
So he's done an incredible job. And if you have an audience, like, that is a clarion call to say, if you have an audience, it's time, like, and it's doable.
Yeah.
This model is doable.
When it just, the other thing I wanted to say was, it also, none of the typical philosophy around how to release a film applies, right?
He's gone straight to theaters. Darren, he's getting 50% of the box office.
I know.
He's gone straight to theaters. There's no distributor.
I think he's got a service provider that's helping him like actually do the bookings, but he's
Sure.
funding the marketing and the P&A,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's driving the demand from his audience. And then he's released a horror film based on a video game in end of January 30th, like the dead month of the year. He released a movie that's now done $43.5 million in box office. He wasn't paying attention to like what competition is out there. He wasn't waiting for permission from a distributor to pick his movie. And I don't know if he went out and tried to get distribution or he just said, I'm doing it myself from day one. I don't actually know. But like all of the standard procedure, he just kind of said, no, I'm just going to do it and I'll figure it out as I go. And I just love everything about this story. And I will say, he seems like a good dude. I watched one of his videos before the movie came out where he was brought to tears that like he was in real time, like refreshing and loading his analytics and stuff. And it was like, it hit him that it was on 1,500 screens and he couldn't believe it. And now it's on over 3,000. It's done 43 million. Like, it's so cool.
As we're talking about this, is interesting. My mind's going to the number one show on Amazon right now is Beast Games, whatever Mr. Beast's thing is. And here's this $100 million budgeted reality show. And we enjoy watching Beast Games on Amazon.
Nice.
But it's very, very similar. Here's this incredibly popular subscribed YouTuber who has built an audience. And we're seeing that now, I think, as the industry, as the old model is floundering, we're seeing people say, hey, no, theaters aren't the problem and TV shows aren't the problem. It's the audience that we need to rally behind our content.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. There's another one that we should quickly touch on, though.
Yeah, just shout out to our buddies over at Angel who released Solo Mio on, when was it, February 6th. We're now a week past that, and it's doing very well. It's at 17 million.
18 and a half.
Is it 18 and a half?
Yeah, in its second weekend. So pretty nuts.
And we saw the movie's fantastic, very fun, really in line with what Angel's doing. And here it is, an independent film. What is it on? 3,000 screens? No, yeah, 3,000 screens.
Yep.
And holding strong over Valentine's Day weekend.
Yeah, with some big releases that came out over Valentine's weekend as well. So,
and same thing, those filmmakers behind that, they made viral clips with who's the lead in it? Kevin?
Kevin James.
Man, my brain today isn't functioning. But yeah, they make these viral clips with Kevin James as the boom guy, or Kevin James as the art teacher or whatever. And Angel really capitalized on that. They started 4 months ago, Kevin James's TikTok and YouTube channel in character for this movie, and have been promoting, hey, he's an art teacher and things like that, and have done some incredible earned media campaigns where they had Kevin James at the Super Bowl in character, sitting by himself with his bouquet, and getting lots of people talking about it and, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
And so they've done an amazing job of creating awareness. Certainly those aren't free to do, but you get a lot of bang for your buck.
And it's the same kind of model of like Angel, I also think shirks off like what this typical strategy is, because back in the day, they released Sound of Freedom on 4th of July weekend in the middle of a crazy big summer with Indiana Jones coming out and Mission Impossible coming out. And they've done it again where it's like Super Bowl weekend is notoriously a very low weekend for box office.
Yeah.
And they released, I think they were the number 2 film opening weekend, and now they're still in probably the top whatever. I mean, what's
number 5
the weekend? Is it number 5 this week? So, I mean, they're still holding great with the 3 new releases came out. Well, 4 came out. 3 of them are in the top 3. So it's number 5 this week. But yeah, you go back a week and it's just crazy. So I love watching talented people do cool stuff. So it opened at number 2 after Send Help, which is a big thing from Walt Disney Studios, and really edging out Iron Lung in its second week. So like, it's just so cool to see. I really love it.
Good. Yeah. Very fun. Very fun. Look at the box office. We need to do that more often. We haven't done that. Since we haven't released a movie, I think that's what we were focusing on. But
That's fair.
that's not,
We have an
it
excuse.
doesn't mean that I don't sit there and look at it each Sunday night and go, okay, there's another
Right.
one film. Okay, Darren, what do we want to talk about this episode? I guess we want to talk about, and maybe that's a bad lead in with the YouTube guy, with Markiplier doing everything himself. We wanted to talk about the idea of what are the hidden costs of doing everything yourself.
Yeah.
I think sometimes as independent filmmakers, I know I'm guilty of that, of wearing all the hats and saying, oh, I'm just going to do it. It's cheaper and better. I'll save time and I'll get it done exactly the way I want to do it. And cut to a year later and I'm burned out and I don't have any other projects coming in because I'm doing everything myself. And so I want to kind of address that and talk about ways to avoid that, or when to do that and when not to.
Yeah, I think there's this illusion of we're saving money because we're doing it all ourselves, right? And in Markiplier's case, he probably did save a lot of money by doing a lot of it himself, right?
Sure.
He was
I
self-financing.
can probably guarantee you that the next film, where there's people now paying attention to it, where he's grown, he'll say, man, it's a lot. He's probably been working on that movie for a long time.
Yeah.
He'll say, hey, I'd love
my
to get another one out
understanding,
there, and he can't do that. But yeah. So,
Yeah.
sorry.
But I think we say it's an illusion because you're saving over here, but you're actually expending over here. You're taking your time. It takes longer. It's fewer people involved, which can make it go faster and could increase the value of the thing. So maybe you did it all yourself, but it's not as valuable as it could have been if you had good partners. And, this is my lived experience right now. Over the weekend, I was literally I built a whole ChatGPT, Claude, AI co-pilot. So it knows me really well. I've taken all these really in-depth personality tests, and it has all of my history of our conversations together, what I'm working on. So it knows my patterns, and it's just going yeah, you're doing the thing that you always do, which is as soon as something gets to a certain point, I kind of walk over here and go, great, what can I build next? What can I build next? What can I architect something new? And it's but that thing's only 90% done, and that doesn't count. It's kind of a pass-fail situation, either with fundraising, for example. Just because you had a conversation with someone, they said they're interested and follow up with them, doesn't mean it's done. Not until their money is in the bank is it done. And I had to confront reality of man, I'm trying to do too many things, and I've lost a little bit of focus on the fundraising side right in the moment where I need to be 100% focused on fundraising. But we have a movie that's going to be in prep in a month. We've got distribution conversations, sponsor conversations, lending conversations all need to be happening. I'm building a slate. So movie number 2 has to be in consideration. So I'm taking some meetings about that movie. So there's a whole bunch that is the right thing to be doing with my time, but everything else really needs to be offloaded to somebody else.
Because that is the opportunity cost of doing it yourself. You are, you're not saving money. You're essentially losing money because of the opportunities that are slipping by.
Yeah. I think if I was being honest and I actually, the thing it confronted me with last week, and it's funny to talk about an AI like this, right? Like it's a therapist or a coach or something. But the thing it confronted me with last week was, are you networking or are you fundraising? I was like, oh, dang, that's a little humbling because I think I've been doing a lot of networking and not a lot of fundraising. So it's okay, well, now I got to double down and make actual shifts and changes to my schedule and my priorities and my day and the work that I'm doing so that I'm actually fundraising and not just networking.
It feels, I think one of my problems in doing it, trying to take on everything, is this losing momentum. I get this time fragmentation, right? Where when I say, hey, what am I going to do with my day? Or I've got a meeting here and an opportunity here, and then I've got to edit here and I've got to write a few pages. And it's that constant switching between projects.
Yeah, context switching.
Thank you. Yeah,
I get that too.
Momentum, right? And so maybe tasks are half finished, or I get this kind of mental clutter and I just can't sort through. Whereas some of these projects, to have that creative ownership of it, it requires some serious mental focus, some deep work and strategic thinking, and being emotionally available to these projects that I'm investing in.
Yeah.
And perhaps if I have help, if I'm saying, no, I'm going to offload the planning and prep for our next Help Them See Foundation fundraiser, and I am going to focus on the script and write this script. When it is done, I will do the next thing.
Yeah. I think that's part of it, right? It's like do one thing all the way and then go to the next thing. I've had people ask me, well, what does context switching look like? And it looks like my desktop. I'm not going to share it right now, but like I've got, if I hit Command Tab, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 applications open.
Oh,
I've got, no, okay, only one Safari window right now, but I've got probably 20 tabs open. And I've got 2 different AI software open. I've got a calendar up. Like I've got all these things open. And when I'm sitting down and I go, great, I'm going to open up a tab and I'm going to start working on my fundraising. And I've blocked out the time and I've said, okay, I'm going to spend an hour or 2 on just this task. But all these other things are open. Well, what happens is a little window comes out the side and says, you have a notification from Garrett who texted you, right? And I go, oh, that's urgent. So I flip over to text. And then I see there's 4 other unread texts. So I read those texts.
Yeah.
And one of them says, hey, I sent you an email about this. So I switch over to email. And then all of a sudden I'm looking at one email, but then I go back to my inbox. Oh, shoot, I got 30 new emails. So I need to check all of those. And then 40 minutes later, it's like, what was I doing this hour? I look at my calendar. Oh my gosh, I should have been fundraising and I've done 0. And that's where the context switching and trying to do it all yourself really steals from you and from the project, because you're trying to do it all yourself, but you're actually like, it's closer to going in reverse than it is to moving forward at all.
And is that by operating like tactically rather than strategically, you lose perhaps that momentum for a specific project.
I don't think you just lose momentum. I think it's never created. You actually don't have momentum ever, because you can't even string a 30 minutes of focused effort together. Not you, Garrett, but me, Darren.
Yeah, no,
I can't do that. So like literally yesterday, I love that we're talking about this because this is literally what I'm going through right now. Yesterday, I was like, hey, I need a new method to get through my week and make sure that I'm protecting these like deep work time blocks of, I need an hour or 2 of fundraising every single day that's uninterrupted, that's protected. And it came back. It was like, okay, well, based on your personality and based on what I know about you, this is what you have to do. Close everything, quit every single app, open up Safari and open one tab. Put your phone in the other room, put it on Do Not Disturb so that nothing pops up on your computer screen, and set a timer for like 45 or 90 minutes. Turn on your Brain FM music to get you in the right headspace. And don't leave your chair until the outcomes that you've established for that time block are done. I'm like, oh man, I know this. Like I inherently know this. I could have said that exact thing to you as in a coaching scenario, but I'm not doing it myself consistently. It's like, oh man, okay, Here we are, and it's Monday, and I'm going, all right, I got 16 apps open and 20 tabs, and it's like there's actually like anxiety tension in my body about closing tabs on Safari. How silly is that?
Yeah.
But that's
I get it. It's relatable. That's what it takes. I try to think, hey, when I'm on set and there's 100 people working, or 50, or it's a low budget movie, there's 15 people depending on the decisions being made. I don't have a bunch of tabs open on my phone, and I'm not playing games, or not even playing games. I'm not trying to answer questions or emails from other people. Right. I'm 100% focused on we're going to make our day. And guess what? That's when movies are made. So if I can have, as an independent filmmaker, that mentality of saying, look, there are 15 people waiting for me to get this script done. Or now suddenly that becomes a priority, and Garrett's texts, don't do this, Darren. They can wait.
In my brain, though, in my brain, it can't wait. My brain says any message that comes in is urgent, which is so funny because if it came in at 9:03 p.m., my phone is on like nighttime mode and do not disturb sleep mode. And I wouldn't even know until 10 a.m. the next morning that you texted me, and it would be totally fine. And yet, if it came in at 10:03 in the morning, I'd be like, oh shoot, I need to go. What is this? So there's so much weirdness about that. But like you said, when we do that, when we are context switching and have too many open tabs, open loops, too many projects, too many responsibilities, we're creating a situation that we are then complaining about. We're the bottleneck, and we're wondering why it's not moving forward.
It becomes a disservice to the project. They'll
Yeah.
start to stall. They're waiting, right? And these opportunities, they'll just move on
Yeah.
because we become the bottleneck. They're like, oh, I sent you the text, or not even that, but you didn't get it done that I needed to get done.
Yeah. When you think about the important stuff that is falling through the cracks because you're doing too much of this other stuff, those are the fundraising conversations that should be on your calendar that aren't because they didn't get a follow-up, or a donor conversation that didn't get a follow-up, or a distributor who said that they're going to look at your material and you haven't followed up with them in 2 weeks because you were waiting on them to resurface, or you just forgot because you didn't have a system to remind you that, like, this is what you should be focusing on every day. And the last 2-3 weeks for me has been a lot of that. We had some travel the last week. I've got more travel coming up this week and next week. And the week after that, actually 3 weeks in a row, I'm going to be traveling. And so it's just like, if you don't have a system that surfaces the most important thing every day, it's really easy for it to get lost in the shuffle of, I'm doing everything.
Yeah. It's so is that the solution, Darren? I know we're still talking about kind of the cause, but is the system the solution?
I think there's a productivity aspect, and I think there's a system aspect for the whole design of the company, right? And we need to expand a little bit, because a lot of people are companies of one. I'm a company of one. I'm kind of a company. It's like 1.5. I've got some fractional people that are helping me right now. And with Brotherhood, we have people working on it. You're a company of one. You have your wife helping, you have your son helping, but like, we're practically companies of one here. But when you think about it, there's the productivity part, which is like your personal ability to move the needle forward on the things you're responsible for. But then there's the systems aspect, which is there are things that you should not be responsible for. But if you don't have anyone there to hand it off to, you can't. It's your responsibility because no one else there to do it. So this showed up on, I saw this years ago where I was like, if I'm going to build a fund and have 3 to 4 movies a year in various stages of production and post and development and distribution, I can't do everything. I can't be the producer on the ground responsible for the day-to-day on any of the movies, because I've tried that before. Remember, like, back when we made Faith of Angels, I was also trying to write a book at the same time. That was the stupidest idea ever. What was I thinking? So I didn't write anything because it was impossible. And then I started writing when I got home from that shoot, because you can't do 2 things. So on this movie, on Brotherhood, the first 4 people I hired were marketing people. And I've hired a line producer, UPM, to work under me. We've hired all of our key crew to handle stuff. I've got a casting director. Like, I'm offloading all the things that should not be my responsibility. The things that are my responsibility are distribution, financing, development, all the types of funding as far as lending and tax incentives and that stuff. Those high level things that no one else can realistically do, and is the best use of my time, because that's what I'm good at, and where I can go and be in a room across the chair from $1 million check writer. That's what I should be doing with my time. But if I'm on set, I can't do that. So where I'm at sitting right now, I'm a little bit over my skis a little bit, right? I'm a little overextended, but I see it more as like faith in the momentum and the project that it's all going to work out. I'm just a little early, but it's all going to happen. It's nerve-wracking. It's stressful. It requires a lot of faith, but like, that is what is required for me to not be the bottleneck on this project.
It is interesting because you say, hey, it requires a lot of faith. And that is because we haven't done it before. We haven't seen it work like that. But I think that's how things work. And so we have to take that leap and say, look, I don't want to be the bottleneck. You know what? Perhaps the most value that I can bring to this project or my day is to focus on such and such project. Meaning, and specifically, is to focus on these fundraising conversations, because you know what? We've raised the budget for the movie in fundraising conversations. And right now, I'm the only one that can have those.
Right.
That means that somebody else should be working on polishing the script or whatever it is, like the maintenance or invoicing or whatever it is, handling the emails, because the value that we bring to the project is is not replaceable.
Yeah.
For those conversations.
Yeah, like you might be you are an extremely capable editor, graphic designer, writer. You can do all of those jobs, but if I think it's a limiting belief and it creates a bottleneck when we say that we're the only one that can do those things or should do those things. So as soon as you say, okay, I'm going to hire someone to do graphic design and do the poster and cut the trailer, that frees you up to do other things. As soon as you say, well, I am the writer director, but maybe I could hire someone to do a polish on this or to do a rewrite or to get it to the next phase or whatever. Maybe that's worth it. Like I don't think with your model, I don't think you're looking to outsource writing or directing. But if you're going to be 100% in on writing and directing, where's the time for fundraising and talking to donors and traveling to Las Vegas and talking about what you're building online and doing all those other things? Like fundraising, as you and I know, is a full-time job. So when you try to stack other things on top of that, then you get 50% focus on one, 50% on another. As soon as you add a third project, now it's 33, 33, 33. It just precipitously cuts down the amount of time and focus you can give on one of those outcomes. And that really hurts to go from 100% focus to 25% focus because you added 3 other responsibilities.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about here. That's how this gets created.
So potential success story on that kind of shift is I had this idea to do a series and for this Western, kind of this American history Western series. And I sat with 2 buddies who are amazing writers. And I put together the pitch like I would have for fundraising for the series. And then I brought them in and said, let's write. I need you guys to write this episode based on this pitch and this stuff. And so they've written an episode. And in 2 weeks, we have scheduled our first read through where we'll be doing a fundraising read through for the series. And it's very refreshing to say, okay, I didn't write the script. It's certainly something that I'm excited about doing and would love to see this project come to life. But in order to continue to maintain like these opportunities, I need to focus on the fundraising. And they're writing the script, and that's great. We'll still do the read through, just like we did with the Pearl, just like we did with the Where the Dog Heals movie. And hopefully these things will start to. I will no longer be the bottleneck.
Yeah, that's awesome. You're talking about giving up some of that attachment to the control that we both share, apparently.
Yeah.
But I'm a decent line producer, and I think I'm a really good producer. And I've given both of those responsibilities to someone else on this project because they're going to be responsible day to day in hiring and interacting with the crew, the schedule, the budget, all that stuff is. I say, here's the big number you can spend, and everything after that is yours. And it's a scary thing to do that, which is why I think we don't do it a lot. At least in my experience, I've always taken on too much because I know that if I'm responsible for it, I can get it done. It's that magnet on your fridge. If it is to be, it is up to me, right? Like, it's that mentality. But that may not be serving us the way we think it is, right? It definitely gets us a lot of momentum and a lot of projects done. You and I both have done many projects. But I wonder if that same mindset is also limiting us from whether it's more or bigger or more impactful projects.
It's definitely
went into like therapy mode.
No, you did, and it makes you think, it makes you ponder and question. Okay, how do am I making a film or am I building a company or what am I doing? And if Markiplier is just making a YouTube video, that's one thing. He's built a whole audience of subscribers, and his movie's at 47 million. And so you go, okay, he's doing something more than just, I don't know. It's more than just a one-off project.
Yeah. One of the things to think about was that his movie took a long time to make. Took a long time in development, took a long time. I don't know about fundraising because I think he self-funded it. It's just a $3 million thing that he spent. But I've heard 3 years, I've heard 10 years, like I've heard that various lengths of how long this project was coming together.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. If he starts on his next one right now and it's going to take 3 years, that's not a great model. He is a bottleneck because he could be directing a movie every year or two. He could be writing a movie every 6 months. He could be acting in a dozen movies a year. Like, depending on how many things you're trying to do, you're the bottleneck, right? So I hope for his sake that he then takes all the leverage that he's gained from this first movie to say, great, what's the business I want to make that's going to build the system that can generate whatever sort of output he wants. You know, you and I are the same situation. You're doing like a movie every year or two. I'm trying to do 3 to 4 a year. But in order for me to do that, I can't be the producer on every single one of them. I'm kind of more the executive producer or the lead producer. So there's trade-offs, definitely. But you like we've said many times on the show before, you start with the end in mind and then you reverse engineer the strategy to get there. But I think almost 100% of the time, part of that strategy is do fewer things.
So is there a time, Darren, when it does make sense to just do it yourself?
I think at the very beginning of a project.
Yeah, when there's not budget.
Yeah.
Or what if it's a brand new,
Before
idea.
there's any leverage, you are creating all the leverage. So, for example, I'm looking at my company, Craftsman Films, and I've got a fractional CFO, Chief Financial Officer, and a fractional CMO, a Chief Marketing Officer. What does fractional mean? It means that they're not full time. They're not working 40 hours a week. They're not even working 40 hours a month. It's probably 2 hours a week max right now. And what happened was I wasn't able to get those people until I had reached a certain amount of momentum and leverage where I'm going, look, this movie's funded. It's coming out in October, you know, whether we self-release it or someone else is releasing it. And at that point, so what I've done is I've traded, I had enough leverage to where I had the right network where I could say, look, I'm looking for help with this. Here's the cap on how much I'm asking for. I'm not asking for 20 hours a week or 10 hours a week. It's like maybe 10 hours a month, probably more like 5. If you're willing to trade your time for, let's call it 10 months up until October, because I started these conversations in January, said, if you're willing to trade me 10 hours a month up until October, we will convert all of those hours into equity in the fund. And you will be a participant on the upside of this first movie and all the other movies because you'll be part of the fund level, not just this movie. And these two individuals are like, yeah, that sounds amazing. I want to be a part of this. I want to help. I have the bandwidth, the capacity to do it. And even though I don't have the means to pay them the $200 to $500 an hour that they would normally charge, I'm able to use the leverage I do have to get their help and their effort right now to where I can say, look, what I need to do is to have you run the marketing meetings on Monday because I shouldn't be running marketing for this movie. He said, great, I got it. And he started 2 weeks ago. You met him for the first time, and he's going to be the one leading strategy on the marketing. And I will probably be there because I want to be there, but I'm not running it. I'm not responsible for anything. And I'm not a bottleneck because other than those 45 minutes a week, the rest of my time is on fundraising and distribution and financing and all that other stuff. So I think at the very beginning, when you have an idea and you need to get it to the point where it can enroll other people, you are responsible for creating whatever leverage you need to get those people enrolled.
I love that. So I think you do it yourself when it's a temporary bridge. You say, okay, in order for me to take this project to this next stage, I've got to do that. But that next stage needs to be the handoff, and it's not that you're not dismissing the project or burdening somebody else with it. You are still very much, I see myself still very much as a creative kind of a manager, overseer of the project. When script pages come in that I haven't written, but that are being written based on the treatment that I did myself, I go, okay, that's great. That aligns with what I wanted to do. We can do a read through, and I haven't written the 60-page script.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I have 6 scripts in the queue for Producer Fund 1 that I did not write and that I haven't even paid for because there are people who I have the leverage where people want to work with me. So they're developing and writing and working on their projects and they're bringing me updates. I'm going, great. When I have the money, I will let you know. But like for now, you're in a waiting pattern along with everybody else. And when the money comes in, then we'll run it through the green light scorecard and we'll make sure that it's the right next project. And because I have the leverage, I can do that, right? I'm not taking advantage of people. I'm saying, oh, if you want to write for me, I do not have money to pay you to do that right now. So you should write it yourself. You should own it. And if it's the right time and I have the money to do it and it's a project I want to do, at that point, I'll come to you and we'll talk about optioning it. But, it's crazy. Like when you start thinking in terms of leverage, all the effort that you are doing that's maybe not ultimately your responsibility, it actually has a purpose at that point. It's not just diffusing your energy across a bunch of different responsibilities. You're saying, I'm going to strategically put some resources into getting this outcome so that I can then hand off that responsibility to somebody else. It's pretty fun.
Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hopefully, I don't know if just us talking about, hey, these are problems, actually offers any sort of solution, but hopefully there's been some solutions that have been planted along the way.
Yeah.
As far as how to avoid this. But yes, I mean, ultimately, I think at the end of the day, as we're trying to grow or keep from just doing one movie every 2 years, there's got to be, I have to realize that there is a cost of doing everything yourself.
Yeah.
And it's probably very expensive.
Yeah. Well, I think there's this fun question. You can almost flip things around and say, look, if someone came into your business and said, I will give you $100,000 to stop doing the things you shouldn't be doing, what would you stop doing? And all of a sudden it's a forcing function of like, oh, the best use of my time is this and maybe this. I would say cap it at 3 max. And that becomes your, like, you can call it a zone of genius. You can call it your boundary. You can call it whatever you want. But like, you as the business owner get to do 1, 2, or 3 things. And that's it. Everything outside of that is now going to be outsourced and delegated to someone else. And if you don't have that person, then oh, the most important thing I need to delegate right now is this. So I need to go find that person. There you go. Now you have a direction and you have an outcome and you go. That's how you build it all up.
I'll take that $100,000.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. Darren, it was a good conversation and a lot to think on. We head out tomorrow for NRB. So hopefully this next episode, we'll do a recap of NRB, or we look forward to talking with people out there. And then the week following is Zion's Indie Film Fest.
Yeah. I will be in New York the whole week. I'm so sad about it because Monday I fly out and I don't get back till Friday at like 11 o'clock p.m. So I'm going to miss Samantha's movie. I'm going to miss everything throughout the week. I'm kind of grateful that I wasn't asked to do any sort of panels or workshops this year. It worked out the right way because I've got a big event that I'm hosting in New York with a bunch of Broadway investors and producers. And so that's where all of my time and focus, except for the little bit I've reserved for NRB this week, is that event. So I'll give you guys a big update on that when that happens. But the week after that, I'm in Chicago with my youngest son, who's in a national youth choir that's performing out there. It's just,
my goodness,
crazy town right now.
You get some travel time. I need to
sell
you my non-transferable or my transferable companion pass.
Hey, there you go.
Expires next month. So.
I'll buy it from you for $20. How about that?
Deal. Sold.
Yeah. I would love to know if there are questions from today's podcast, though. I imagine it's going to resonate with a lot of indie filmmakers who feel like that's exactly what's happening. I'm doing everything myself and making no progress. So what do I do? I'd love to hear questions and even come back to this topic and answer some of those questions. So if you're listening, which you are, because you wouldn't hear this otherwise, send in some questions. Let us know what you think.
Okay. Sounds great, Darren. Thanks so much. We'll look forward to chatting with you next week. Thanks everyone for listening, and do please send in those questions. This season of Truly Independent is supported by the Help Them See Foundation. Help Them See is a nonprofit dedicated to supporting feature films that inspire faith, hope, and connection. By partnering with filmmakers, the Help Them See Foundation brings meaningful stories to life and shares them with audiences worldwide, making a lasting cultural impact through the power of cinema. Learn more and discover how you can be part of the movement by visiting helpthemseefoundation.org. Thanks for joining us. If you are enjoying Truly Independent, please share and subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the journey. Today's episode was edited by Michael Bradford and produced by 3 Coin Productions.